Bonjour et bienvenue. This is Fabulously Delicious, the French food podcast, and today you're listening to a special episode in our Story of series. In this series, we dive deep into the lives of remarkable French chefs from history, the pioneers, the innovators, the legends who shaped French cuisine and left an indelible mark on the culinary world. From their humble beginnings to their greatest achievements, personal triumphs, and lasting legacies, we uncover the fascinating stories behind the names that continue to inspire chefs and food lovers today. I'm your host, Andrew Pryor. Enchanté.
Enchanté.
I'm a former MasterChef Australia contestant, and now I'm living my dream life right here in France. I'm passionate about exploring French food, history, and culture. Through this series, I hope to bring these culinary icons to life and share their fabulous journeys with you, my fabulously delicious audience. In this episode of Fabulously Delicious, the French food podcast, we explore the extraordinary life and legacy of Ginette Mathiot, the woman behind France's best-loved cookbooks, from her strict Protestant upbringing in the early 20th century Paris to her trailblazing role as an educator and culinary author. Ginette taught generations of French families how to cook, nourish, and celebrate everyday food. Her story is one of quiet resilience, practical brilliance, and a lasting impact on home cooking, not just in France, but around the world. So sit back, pour yourself a glass of wine, grab a slice of cheese, some delicious saucisson, and settle in as we uncover the story of Ginette Mathiot. Welcome to Fabulously Delicious. Let's step back in time to early 20th century Paris, a city of boulevards and bistros where the clatter of cafe cups meets the hum of literary salons. On Thursday, the 23rd of May in 1907, in the 14th arrondissement of this vibrant city, Geneviève Mathiot was born. Though history would come to know her more intimately as Ginette Mathiot, the woman who would go on to revolutionize how generations of French people learned to cook. Ginette's father was a Protestant pastor, a figure of discipline and unwavering conviction, and her mother hailed from Alsace, a region with its own rich culinary and cultural traditions. Together they provided a strict and structured upbringing. Ginette's early life, though filled with potential, was marked by the limitations of the era and the boundaries drawn by her family's firm beliefs. As a young girl, she was sent to the Lycée Fénelon in the 6th arrondissement for her secondary education, a prestigious school for young women. It was here that she shared classrooms with none other than Simone Weil, the brilliant philosopher and mystic. The air must have been heavy with ideas, ambitions, and the scent of freshly sharpened pencils. Ginette herself had big dreams of becoming a doctor. She longed to study medicine, but her father wouldn't allow it. It was a disappointment that would shape her trajectory for her life. And it wasn't the only dream that she was denied. Ginette would later reveal that she had fallen in love not once, but 7 times in her youth. Each romance was ultimately thwarted by her family for the same reason: the men weren't Protestant. In one of her later cookbooks, she poignantly wrote, "If the people who use my book only knew how many tears of upset love wet the cards on which I wrote my recipes." It's a heartbreaking and human reminder that behind the recipes, behind the precise measurements and the tidy instructions, was a woman who had sacrificed much. Perhaps it was this deep well of emotion, of resilience, that fueled her extraordinary output in the years to come. Ginette never married, and though she missed out on certain personal joys, she poured her heart into a different kind of legacy: food education and service to the French home. She began her professional path by studying at the Sorbonne, taking teaching courses before enrolling in the École Normale d'Enseignement Ménager de la Ville de Paris, a school dedicated to training women in household arts. She became a teacher at the Paul Bert Girls' College, educating young women in the domestic sciences, which in France was not merely homemaking, but an esteemed and structured discipline. It was 1930 when opportunity, as it so often does, came knocking unexpectedly. The publishing house Albin Michel was searching for someone to help create a new kind of cookbook, one that emphasised dietetics, the then modern science of adapting food to suit health and cultural needs. They approached the school where Ginette was teaching. The task was daunting, a comprehensive science-based cookbook. A young teacher named Hélène Delange was asked first, but she hesitated. Instead, she recommended her former classmate Ginette, who was just 23 years old at the time. Young, eager, and likely with something to prove, Ginette accepted the challenge. Her parents were once again skeptical. They didn't believe the project would amount to anything, and they advised her to take a flat fee rather than a percentage of the sales. And so, Ginette accepted a lump sum of 8,000 francs, which today would be worth roughly 4,800 euros. The fee was split between Hélène Delange and Ginette, even though Hélène, curiously, hadn't participated in the writing of the book at all. Her name, however, was included on the cover alongside Ginette's. The result of this ambitious project was Je Sais Cuisiner, I Know How to Cook. Published on the 1st of August in 1932, it was a monumental 650-page book featuring nearly 2,000 recipes, designed not for elite chefs, but for everyday French women. It was practical, though, and incredibly influential. But it wasn't an instant bestseller. The Second World War would soon interrupt everything, including the publishing world. And after the war, the publishing house was taken over by Robert Eves Menard, who recognized the book's potential. He offered Ginette what her parents had failed to see the value in, a percentage of the book sales. By 1950, Je Sais Cuisiner was credited to both Ginette and Hélène, but in a 1955 reprint, Hélène's name was quietly dropped. From then on, it was just Ginette's book alone. Dreaming of Paris, or maybe you're already lucky enough to live in the city of lights, love and good food. Well, either way, let's talk about the most delicious part of Paris. It's the food. As someone who's had the absolute pleasure of calling Paris home, I've spent years exploring the incredible culinary treasures, and now I want to help you discover them too. That's why I wrote this book, Paris, a fabulous food guide to the world's most delicious city. This is a 2025 edition. It's the ultimate foodie passport to Paris. It features over 400 hand-picked recommendations that will make your taste buds dance for joy. From the city's best-selling boulangeries to cozy cafes, indulgent chocolate shops, must-visit fromageries, and more. This guide has it all. The best department stores in Paris for food? You want this guide. And that's not all. I've even added brand new sections for vegan, vegetarian dining, where to find the best views with your meal, and a freshly expanded food walking tour to help you eat your way through the city like a pro. Whether you're craving flaky pastries, creamy cheeses, or unforgettable dining experiences, this guide has got you covered. So, ready to explore Paris like never before? Grab your copy today at andrewpryorfabulously.com, where you can even get a signed and gift package version. Then you can find it on Amazon, and there's a Kindle version for instant access. Your Parisian food adventure awaits. Bon voyage and bon appétit! Over her lifetime, Ginette would go on to write more than 30 cookbooks. That's right, more than 30. And not just cookbooks for the home cook, but educational guides, regional recipe collections, international cuisine compilations, and even cookbooks for children and teenagers. Let's take a moment to appreciate the breadth of her work. After Je Sais Cuisiner came Je Sais Faire la Pâtisserie, I Know How to Bake, in 1938. Je Sais Faire les Conserves, I Know How to Make Preserves, in 1948. La Cuisine à l'école et à la maison, Cooking at School and at Home, in 1953. La Cuisine pour tous, Cooking for Everyone, in 1955. And in 1959, a particularly charming title, one of my favorites, I'm searching for it now as we speak, to get a copy, Je sais cuisiner en vacances, en camping, en caravane, en yacht. Because naturally, cooking doesn't stop just because you're yachting. Pastry for All in 1963. Wonders of International and Exotic Cuisine in 1967. Bon Appetit in 1972. At the Table in 1975. 300 Dishes of the Day and Art of Accommodating Their Leftovers in 1977. Preserves for All and How to Use Them in 1977. My Cookbook in 1977. Bread Cooking and Delicacies in 1985. Cooking for Children and Teenagers in 1988. And 500 Recipes for Every Day that was released posthumously in 1999. Her 1962 book, 400 Recipes for 100 Guests, Good Community Cooking, offered practical advice for large-scale cooking, while the 1965 Je Sais Cuisiner autour du monde introduced French home cooks to dishes from Mali, Benin, Senegal, and North African countries. Decades before the word fusion became trendy, Ginette was celebrating global cuisines. She even wrote Cooking for You and Me, a delightful 1969 release with over 500 recipes for couples. Practical, romantic, and still relevant today. Her books weren't just popular in France either. They were translated into at least 9 languages, including English, Italian, Spanish, Dutch, Slovakian, and Japanese, bringing French home cooking to the world. Throughout all of this, Ginette remained a dedicated educator. She eventually rose to the role of Inspectrice Générale d'Enseignement Mélanger, or General Inspector of Household Education, overseeing the teaching of domestic sciences across France. It was a prestigious position that acknowledged both her intellectual rigour and her unwavering dedication to home economics. Household education, in her view, wasn't just about scrubbing floors or boiling potatoes. It was about creating a healthy, nourishing, and supportive domestic space, one that sustained physical life and intellectual growth. Her impact was so significant that she was made an Officer de la Légion d'honneur, one of France's highest distinctions. By January 1998, Je Sais Cuisiner had sold over 2.4 million copies, and La Cuisine pour tous had surpassed 2.5 million. These were not just cookbooks, they were cultural touchstones, and Ginette held the remarkable record of being the author of the best-selling French book by a living author at the time. Hungry for more fabulous French flavour between episodes? Well, come join me on Instagram, where I'm diving into the delicious depths of French food history, serving up bite-sized videos packed with fascinating facts, fabulous dishes, and the tasty tales behind them. You'll also get a peek into my life here in France, the quirks, the charm, and of course, plenty of food. Follow me at Andrew Pryor Fabulously on Instagram and Threads, because your feed deserves a daily dash of fabulous. Let's make history delicious together. On Sunday, the 14th of June in 1998, Ginette passed away at the age of 91. A quiet farewell for a woman whose voice had spoken to millions through the pages of her books. Yet her story doesn't end there. 10 years after her death, Je Sais Cuisiner had sold more than 6.3 million copies worldwide. Her work continues to shape kitchens today, not just here in France, but around the world. Generations of cooks, from grandmothers to their grandchildren, have learned to poach, roast, simmer, and saute thanks to Ginette's steady guidance. She may never have become a doctor or walked down the aisle or seen her own name in romantic love letters, but she became something else entirely, a teacher to millions, the guardian of French home cooking, and a quiet revolutionary who transformed the way we learn to cook. So the next time you flip through a cookbook and feel that comforting sense of order, possibility, and nourishment, think of Ginette Mathiot and all the tears, dreams, and recipes that built her legacy. A big merci beaucoup to everybody listening to Fabulously Delicious, the French Food Podcast, especially our fabulous listeners in Denmark. I'm thrilled to have reached number 28 on the Apple Podcast food charts in Denmark. How fabulous is that? Thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're in Copenhagen or Aarhus or enjoying Smørku somewhere scenic. And who knows, maybe even Queen Mary, our Aussie royal turned Danish queen, is listening in too. If you are, Your Majesty, bonjour and g'day. To all our listeners in Denmark and around the world, thank you for being part of the delicious journey through French food. Your support means the world. Stay tuned for more fabulousness to come. Robin Davis aptly described Ginette's seminal work, Je Sais Cuisiner, as an authoritative cookbook for French housewives, first published in 1932, and often described as the French joy of cooking. And that's it for another episode of Fabulously Delicious and our The Story of series. What did you think of the life and legacy of Ginette Mathiot? Did you discover something new or gain a deeper appreciation for her contribution to French cuisine? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Slide into my DMs at Andrew Pryor Fabulously, or you can send me an email at contact@andrewpryorfabulously.com. Let's chat about Ginette, her recipes, or anything else that you find fascinating in today's episode. If you enjoyed this journey through the past, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast on your favorite platform. Your feedback not only means the world to me, but it also helps more foodies and French cuisine lovers discover Fabulously Delicious. So why not share this episode with your fellow food lovers or anybody who adores French cuisine and its history? Your support keeps these stories alive and celebrated. Thank you so much for joining me, and as we honour the chefs who made French cuisine what it is today, remember my motto: whatever you do it fabulously. Merci beaucoup, and as always, bon app. Until next time, au revoir.